Good afternoon. Welcome to the Sedro Woolley Rotary Club, the greatest Rotary Club in the... Thank you. With the things going on in the world, I had two little quotes here today. The first from President Kennedy: peace is a daily, a weekly, monthly process, gradually changing opinions, slowly eroding old barriers, quietly building new structures. And the second quote is, peace brings with it so many positive emotions that it is worth aiming for in all circumstances, by Estella Elliott. Today's invocation is by Mike Moser.
Please bow your heads. Dear Lord, please bless this food to the nourishment of our bodies. Thank you for the hands that have prepared it. Please watch over this Rotary Club and Rotary in general and all the good work we do, and be with our members in everything we do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Mike. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Today's song is by Keith.
Bill McCann found out that I was going to be leading the song today, and he said, whatever you do, don't drag it. He says, every time you lead a song, you drag it. So, okay, let's put a little zip into it. God bless America. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the ocean white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Thank you, Keith. And that was very, is that okay, Bill? Okay. Please join me in the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you. Do we have any visiting Rotarians today besides our honored guests? Do we have any guests of Rotarians here today? Lynn. Welcome, Paul. The auction's coming up, and I had a count of our membership that has got their silent auctions in, or at least got some of their silent auction items in. And out of the 90 plus members that we have 25 people, 25 members who have so far submitted their items. I see Paula must have donated today. So we're at 26. It's still not very good. So let's all get going and call up your friends and get them going. If you've got any Husky or Cougar memorabilia, shirts, coolers, tests, ice chest, anything, please turn that in. We're going to make that part of a contest. That'll be a lot of fun at the auction. Remember to register for the auction. Danny is working hard on that, and we need to fill up, because if we don't fill up, that's where we make our money. We got to have the people there. And so just go online and register for the auction. And tonight at 5:30, we're having an auction meeting. It's an important meeting as we get closer. Please join us there at 5:30 at the Janicki office building there on Ferry Street. So 5:30 Janicki building. Anyone else have any of their announcements they'd like to make? Phil?
Just very quickly, as you know, I am your selected president-elect for next year. I'm beginning to look at teams, monthly teams and other committees. If you have a desire to switch teams or something like that, just let me know. I'll be sending out an email to all of you as a follow-up.
Thank you. Mark?
So we have Paul Harris Awards that we normally give out, and we are open for nominations right now. And if you have a worthy recipient, and it's not only in our club, but in the community that puts service above self, in our booklet, it shows all the Paul Harris recipients, and there are quite a few in the room right now. But if you think you know of someone that's worthy, please write a kind of a description of why you think they're worthy and get it into me. You can email me or you can text me or whatever. Our team will probably start the middle of April in reviewing it, and with the goals to award those in June at the induction ceremony we have. So Paul Harris Awards, Service Above Self, a highlight of every year that we have. So please give me some nominations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Get those in. Any other announcements that we might have? Okay, time to spin the wheel.
Okay, let's spin the wheel. I guess I got to do it all today.
I think, Mike, you're the only one from March, aren't you?
Evidently, everybody's busy, I
Rick's
guess.
honorary March.
I got to find them all. Okay, our first number, it looks like, well, I could say 99, but that'd be wrong. 066, Mr. McCann. Here's a man with confidence. He knows he's going to spin it. And no, you get a gift certificate for $25 from Railroad Pub and Pizza.
Okay, very good.
You're wrong, John. Next number. Would be number 18, Mr. Massey. It's going for the wine. Thanks, Steve. And the next number, 36. And it'd be Miss Paula. Okay. And we'll do one more. This would be the number 3. All by itself. Number 3, Mr. Wagner. There we go. We're done, Rich.
Okay, thank you. Time for a sergeant of arms, and again, that turns to Mike.
Okay, since we have a esteemed visitor today in our assistant district governor, we're going to make this fairly quick today. What did he say? What did he say? Oh, Helen's Vineyard Wine and Cheese Plate. So there'll be a gift certificate somewhere for that, I guess. We'll look and see. We'll find it and get it for you. So anyway, because our assistant district governor's here, we're going to make this real short and sweet. If I happen to call your name, then it costs you $1. Carl, would you like to help me pick up? See, that's $1. See how that works? And I don't know, Dan, you want to help me pick up? Yes, I'm looking at you. That'll cost you $1. If you don't have your badge on or you didn't get your badge, that's $1. If you haven't paid your birthday bucks or your anniversary bucks, birthdays are $2, anniversaries are $3. And then finally, if you have not bought your tickets to the auction, that'll cost you $2. If you've not turned in any items for the auction, that'll cost you $2. And remember, this is strictly, is it the truth? So get your money out. Then we're just going to move on right to Happy Bucks, and I'm going to start it out. As most of you know, my son is a first lieutenant in the Army. He has gone through just about every training he could. He's a qualified sapper. He's qualified ranger. He's a jump master. But for the last 4.5 weeks, he was at Special Forces evaluation. They started out with 340 people that started the program. 79 of them made it through. He said it was the hardest thing he has ever done. And he's one of those 79. So he'll be going to Green Beret training starting about 6 months from now. And we couldn't be more proud of him. You know, as a parent, I have real mixed feelings about my son being a Green Beret, but it's his path, and yeah, very proud of him. And then the rest of the Happy 50 is Saturday morning, bright and early. I'm on a plane to Mexico. So who else is happy?
I'm happy, Mike. I've got a granddaughter that turns 2 on Saturday.
I am not happy. I have $10 from David Bricka, who I'm making work right now, so he can't be here. But he wanted to celebrate Bev being here. They were presidents for their respective clubs at the same time. So he wanted to celebrate that, and he apologizes for not being here. And I want to, on the record, say I didn't bring any cash with me on my own, but I do owe the club for the fines. So hold me accountable, make me bring it next week.
We have this thing called Venmo.
I can Venmo.
You can Venmo. There you go. Louis right here.
I got a happy buck for my grandson again. I don't think Josh is here today. He keeps missing out on these happy bucks, but up at a 13 school track meet in Linden, Mason took first in the 100-meter.
Mason. Yay, Mason. Miss Paula.
I got 5 here because I gathered my 3 items. I have a gift certificate for Dusty's Detail at $250. I have in this box, it's a pampering package. It includes a massage with Rochelle and some other oils and things. And then Wildwood Salon, Shelby also donated a hair appointment and products. So everything's all packaged together there. And then I might as well also, can you help me move that? Thank you. Show the print that Andy Porter donated. So you guys now have incentive to get your items in and also to bid on these that I brought.
Very good. Thank you, Paula.
Thank you, Paula.
And
for
we're still
setting a
dropping
great
these off
example.
at Brock's office, right? Brock. Okay. Who else is happy? Over here.
I'm mainly happy. I see Rod Hall he's probably sleeping, but he's checked in. I called Rod up today. I was going to call his brother, but I called him and said, I need some crushed rock down at Patrick's Playground. And he said, okay, I'll send it down there and I'll figure out what to do with it. I says, well, donate it to Rotary. He said, okay. So we all verify that he's donating that wood or that rock to Rotary. And then I call the city. So your employees at the city said they're going to grade it, rip it, fix the whole parking lot next week when the kids are on spring break. So that's the city that we live in. You call someone, you get rocked. You call the city, they fix it. And I didn't do anything, but my wife's going to be happy.
Well, I just put 10 in for David, so you don't have to.
Okay. Miss Becky.
I have 5 happy bucks today. I was in Palm Springs with some of my high school girlfriends last week. And Renee, Saturday night at 9:30, wanted some ice cream. So she texts the front desk, could you bring us some ice cream? We're in a World Mark. And of course, they text back, say, no, we don't provide that service. And so we were trying to scheme how we could get some because we didn't have a car. And so a few minutes later, we got a text from the front desk that they found an unopened carton of ice cream that we could have. So we ran down to the desk. I took a picture of Renee getting the ice cream, and accidentally I put it on Facebook, which I didn't mean to do. But Mary Ryan responded and she goes, that's my brother. So I got to meet Mary's brother.
Small world. Anybody else happy? Okay, Rich.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I'm going to call on Becky to introduce our district governor. Becky.
Fellow Rotarians, it's my honor today to introduce you to Bev Harrington, our district governor for District 5050. Bev started her professional career as a credit union CEO. She's owned and worked her own business since 1988, the Skagit Auto Licensing, providing vehicle titling and licensing services for the state of Washington. Bev joined Burlington Morning Club in 2005 due to its focus on service above self. She's a member of the Paul Harris Society and a major donor to the Rotary Foundation. Bev developed the Rotary Youth Engaged in Service. That's the YES program. She did that in 2007 to involve high school youth in local and international service. She's also the recipient of Rotary International Service Above Self Award. Please help me welcome Bev Harrington.
Well, I'm not a podium person, so hopefully you can make that work for the people who are online. You know, after 52 club visits, I finally find myself at the best club in the universe. And neighbors, so it's always great to be at a neighboring club. Before I start too, I would like to recognize Les Huggins. I don't know where he's sitting. Les joined Rotary in January of 1972 at the young age of 30, which was as soon as you could join. And so I have a special pin for you and to say thank you for 50 years of Rotary service in the same club. I'm only going to share a couple thoughts, no PowerPoint, just a couple of my thoughts this morning. And then those cards you got are a fun activity that we do together. Our Rotary International president, Shekhar Mehta, has asked us to do more and grow more. The same old line every year, a few different words, right? Do more and grow more. But I want to focus on the ties that bind us together as Rotarians, which is service and connection. I purposely don't use the word fellowship. We talk a lot about fellowship and Rotary. And through a few words I have to say in this activity we're going to do, it'll be clear what the difference is between fellowship and connection. You know, I was never asked to join Rotary. There's lots of Rotarians in our valley. And I was on the Burlington City Council and owned my own business, and had been asked by members of the Chamber of Commerce that met monthly, and I met monthly with the Chamber also. They asked me if I wouldn't put together an office for the Chamber. At that time, it was a box and a monthly meeting. No staff, no meeting space other than out at there on the freeway. It used to be called Best Something, it was a restaurant. Anyway, so I took that, I organized the Chamber, wound up about a year later then hiring some staff and finding an office space. So I was well known, but asked I was not. I just happened to see a full-page ad in the Skagit Valley Herald that your club participated in too. All the Skagit County clubs got together and put this ad in the paper, talking about the service projects they did and when they met, and encouraging people to join them. And they even said, "Women welcome." This was the first I knew that there were women in Rotary, or very much about Rotary in general. And because I had been involved with development work earlier in my life, I thought, this sounds really interesting. I'm going to check this out. I, of course, was very welcomed when I came to that first meeting at 7 o'clock in the morning. This was in 2005, so the 100th anniversary of Rotary. Always easy for me to remember when I joined Rotary. And a couple years later, I went to the International Convention in Salt Lake City and happened to take in a breakout session that was being put on by a group called Youth Link in Utah. And they had a program. It was not a Rotary program. It was just a local organization that had formed this program to encourage youth to do local community service and then do an international service project. And the interesting thing that came about from that was once these students, who were all juniors in high school, I'm used to speaking Canadian. I've been in Canada for a couple of weeks. It's 11th grade, right? Or grade 11. Anyway, but our juniors in high school. And they found that these students wanted to stay together after they had been together all year, and they traveled internationally together. And they started forming Interact clubs. Well, it just so happened our incoming president, Marty Lair, yes, I don't think his son is here today. Is he here? Oh, I didn't see you before. Yeah, okay. Marty Lair had made known his goals for the year right at the beginning of the year. And he had said, my main goal is to form an Interact club at Burlington Edison High School. So I came back with this idea. I said, they're doing this, and this is the result. Are you interested in maybe joining with them and seeing how it works? Well, the club jumped right in, sponsored 3 students. We organized a program during the year, and then they traveled. And from that, that's how the YES program was born. And since then, we've had over 80 students, unfortunately, none sponsored by your club here in Sedro Woolley. It's really an incredible thing for a student to learn about Rotary, get some leadership training, attend Yale, and also plan what they're going to be doing internationally. It changes their lives. It changes the club because they come back talking about this. It has such a tremendous impact. And these students have given over 1,000 hours of local community service over these 14 years because each one has to do 80 hours during the year. It's a requirement to be in the program. So that's how YES got started, going to an international conference, hearing an idea, coming back, and a club like all our Rotary clubs just said, yes, let's try that, let's do that. And you know, the Burlington Rotary has sponsored no less than 2 students every year for 14 years. Well, except for the last 2 because of COVID, right? Right. Great program. So it's all about service. And Rotary is all about service too, because service really warms our hearts and makes us feel like we have value. It really pleases us, and it's so helpful in our community. And you all here in Sedro Woolley are quite incredible with what you do in the community. I had the opportunity last August to be at the formal dedication of Pat's Playground, which really was so significant because I'd also been at the celebration of Pat's life. So it was such a wonderful honoring, and also an inclusive. I'd never known what an inclusive playground was before. And it was fascinating. Both my husband and I came and we really, really thought, what an incredible project. And then when I was looking at your website, I noticed you also have something that you've done. I don't know when it was. It was a swing that a wheelchair can go on. Where is that located? Riverfront. What an incredible thing for someone in a wheelchair, a child in a wheelchair, to be able to swing. It's just beautiful. And of course, this building, I was asking when I came in, isn't this corkboard on the side new? And I learned there's a new floor and there's new windows and maybe a new door. So you contribute so much to this community, and as do so many Rotary clubs. And I'm wondering, what in the world would our communities be like if there wasn't Rotary and Rotarians? In this community, it's very obvious. You only have to look around, right? And in Burlington too, we wouldn't have that big, beautiful clock if there wasn't. I think it's beautiful because I helped make it happen. But anyway, so the things Rotarians do, not just the physical things, but the things we do that touch people's lives. Over the years, it takes a lot of people who step forward to do this type of thing. And so I asked the president each year if he would, or she would tell me someone in the club that we might honor for outstanding club leadership and service. And the person who is being honored today by Club President Rich is Danny Baird Russell. Is Danny here? It's a pleasure to meet you, Danny. And here's what's being said about you. Danny has done fabulous work on registration and billing for our auction. Big job. Yeah, this takes many hours, and Danny, who has a full-time job and small children, has taken on this difficult job without which we would not have had a successful auction that we've had for so many years. Danny exemplifies what it means when we say service above self. Well, congratulations. I have for you this medallion of this year's theme, Serve to Change Lives, 21-22. Thank you. So you can remember this. The club has also done many international projects, and I was looking that up and seeing some of the things that you've done, your classroom repairs in Honduras, the La Moya Power, quite a few things with the International Project Elite, IPA Project International, I know what that name is, International Project Elite Alliance. Okay, I'm always calling it the IPA. I was actually at the first meeting of this group when it was being formed. So you've done a lot of things with the IPA and a few things outside of the IPA. And so over the past 5 years, almost $50,000 has been given to this club to do international projects. Now, it takes money to do that, right? And the foundation. And I think, and I'm aware that your club awards people, recognizes people with a Paul Harris. It was announced this morning. But the other thing I also noticed is once someone gets that Paul Harris, they don't continue to contribute to the foundation. And so over the 100 years that you have been in a Rotary Club, there's about $280,000 that's been given to the foundation. I really encourage you to go beyond that initial recognition. It takes money to do good in the world. And I know we get recognized, and it's wonderful to have the club recognizes people initially, but then we need to continue to, feed the pot so we can continue doing these incredible projects. And so one of the things happening right now is the Disaster Recovery Fund that the foundation set up to help the people in Ukraine and the neighboring countries who are sheltering these people. So that's one of the things that what happens when we are able to, we have the resources to be able to help continue to support that. And I personally advocate for making that decision once. I'm a very lazy major donor. This is the pen that I'm wearing. And that's $10,000 cash contribution over many, many years. And the reason I got there was many years ago, I heard about the Rotary Direct, where you can make a decision, say, take this amount of money out of my checking book every month, and then basically forgot about it, except putting it in my checkbook on a monthly basis. So I encourage you to think about that, whether it's $10 or it's $50 or it's $100 a month as a member of the Paul Harris Society. It makes a difference. And then we know that we're helping to contribute to all of what Rotary does. So I promised you this activity. This is something I learned about a couple years ago. It's called We Connect. And the people who created it have videos, which are really fascinating. Every week, a new little 5-minute video. And I always watch them, and I hope I'm getting some of the information so I can do some of the wonderful things that these trainers are able to do. So they had these cards, and it's about connection. And I thought, well, let's see how this works. So at a staff meeting, I randomly pulled a card, and it said, tell us something we don't know about you. Well, I have 5 people on staff, and my manager's been there for 38 years. We're family. And I thought, oh, darn, I picked something nobody's going to have anything to say because we know each other so well. Well, I was mistaken. We all found out something different and surprising. But the interesting thing was the tone of that meeting changed. It felt warmer during the whole meeting. And during the next week, it continued. And since then, I have noticed the staff deals with me more personally. I'm not just someone they deal with on a business level, but also a personal level. So I thought there's something here. Then I thought maybe I can use this on Zoom, because when you first log on to Zoom, people are coming in at different times and you're waiting for it to get started, or people are doing what I call small talk. And at the first district board meeting in July, I decided to ask a question of the first people coming in before we started the meeting. Surprised them a bit. They weren't used to that. And this time I picked a card. And what I chose was, what's the most adventurous thing you have ever done? What's the most adventurous thing? Oh, you got that card. Okay. So the first person coming in and answering was District Governor-elect Raj, who will be the district governor come July 1st. I've known him quite some time. The leadership to being district governor is like a 4-year process. And before COVID, we met together regularly. We'd have a meal together. We'd be talking, right? I knew that Raj wasn't married, that he lived in White Rock, that he had worked for the World Bank, and he was a civil engineer. No children. All those things we find out about each other, the small talk about our lives. But what I didn't know when he answered the question, the most adventurous thing he'd ever done, was that he had climbed to the base camp of Mount Everest. This was a whole new thought about Raj. Then I thought, I'm going to try this at Rotary. We had a couple new people come in at the same time, and I couldn't remember. There's 2 women, they're about the same age, and one, I couldn't remember their names, and secondly, I couldn't remember, did this one work here or did she work there, to try to be a little bit more personal. So I asked a question, and from that point, I knew who they were separately because I remembered what they responded with. Now you're going to remember that our district governor next year climbed to the base camp of Mount Everest, right? And these people I remember too. So this is a bit of connection, something beyond small talk. The way this works is you all have a different color card. So I'm really sorry for the gentlemen at this table who always sit together, but your card is one color, and other tables, there's 2 other colors. And the way this works is you get up, everyone needs to get out of their chair so we can wake back up and find someone with a different color card. Then you ask the question to the other person, the question on your card. You don't answer your card, you ask that question to the other person. They ask you their question, and then, of course, you're answering, and then you exchange cards, then you switch cards, right? And then you find a second partner. So we do this 2 times, and we'll probably take about 5 minutes. Sometimes people only get past 1 person because they're having such a good dialogue, but hopefully 2 people. So you can learn something about the people in the club that you don't know. Different color, different person. So we stand up, you find there's 3 different colors, someone with a different color, and then ask the questions. If you've done 2 people, please sit down, and I have to take the cards back. I need to take the cards. Okay, well, Becky's going to be picking up the cards, so I have them for the next time. So Rich just said that was fun. Was that fun? We're doing this game for the first hour of the district celebration, AKA conference in Semiahmoo in May. So if you enjoyed this, be sure you come. We've switched the whole conference up. We're not having the boring old House of Friendship. We're having an international bazaar where clubs will be displaying a project. They'll be having a raffle basket that'll be raffled off amongst the people who come. And also raising funds. And then Saturday night, we're having the Killer Keys dueling pianos, which is really a fun group. And the money raised there will go to the clubs who are displaying in the booths for the International Bazaar. So lots of fun things. And everyone who comes, because we have very generous sponsors, will get a box of these cards. And we have a speaker right off the bat on Saturday morning who is going to be giving a presentation with a lot more detail about how to use these in your work or with your family or in Rotary. So we get to know each other on a different level. So we connect, not just have fellowship, but we connect with each other. And you know, we call ourselves a family of Rotary, but when a family member is missing, we know it. You have a very large club. There's a lot of missing here today. Wouldn't it be nice if everyone thought about someone who wasn't here and contacted them and said, you know, we played this fun game today. We missed you. Hope you'll be here next week. Right? So people know they're more than a number, and that when they're not there, they're missed. Rotary is always encouraged, as Rotarians, we're encouraged to bring new people into Rotary. And this year, the way that's being expressed is each one bring one. Well, you know, we're all really good about bringing people into Rotary. Rotarians are good about that, but we're every bit as good at letting them go, right? Actually, even better, because our numbers keep going down and we keep having lots of new people join Rotary. And this isn't just here, it's all over the world, because we don't get connected. And there's an American author, who's Sam Keen, who says, nothing shapes our lives so much as the questions we ask, refuse to ask, or never even dream of asking. So we need to think about asking those questions. What is it you'd like to get out of Rotary? Is there a project you think it might be fun for us to do? Or will you come and join us because we're going to be doing something at the community center and even inviting community members to join? We're hardwired for connection, not just fellowship, but connection. In closing, I want to share what the president of Rotary said when he was introducing this year's theme. I find him to be incredibly inspiring, his life particularly, because he's an accountant who has done amazing things in India. He started these schools to help children become literate, and they're called happy schools. And now they're all over the country, and India is huge, right? These happy schools. And he's done some medical procedures too, bringing in medical teams. But he also is just a great speaker. His name is Shekhar Mehta, and I'm hoping to meet the Shekhar Mehta in Houston at the International Convention this year, because of course everything has been on Zoom. So he said, the biggest gift we are given is the power to touch a life, to change, to make a difference in the circle of life. If we can open our hands, our heart, and our soul, the magic will begin to happen as the wheel begins to roll. Let us turn that wheel together so all humanity thrives. We have the power and the magic to serve, to change lives. So my Rotary friends and family, this is our time and this is our moment to continue to work with others in our community, to do the Rotary Day of Service with the other clubs in our area, and working with the government, the community, well, we don't always call it government, but to work with them as you are doing all the time with this building. Bring other people in to do our projects, to grow Rotary, and also then to remember those who aren't here, and to open our hearts and our thoughts and take the time to continue to invite people to join us to change lives. It's a pleasure to be here at this 100-year-old club, and I'm really looking forward to your auction next month and celebrating with you.
You want to take any questions? Thank you, Bev, for an inspiring talk and a fun little game or whatever you want to call it. But it really was interesting and learned a couple of things. So thank you again for visiting, and thank you all for coming. We had a good turnout today. Seems like as COVID goes further and further in our rearview mirror, our fingers crossed it is, that we're getting better and better turnout. So thank you all for coming. Please remember that we have a auction meeting 5:30 tonight. And if you can help clean up, please stay behind and help March clean up, because March is only Mike Moser today, so he could probably use some help. So with that, thank you, and we'll see you tonight and next Thursday.